Okay, so very good evening to all of you. Just wanted to check the audio connection, please. Is my audio and video is clear? Guys, can you please let me know is my audio and video is clear? Guys, can you please let me know is my audio and video is clear? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Right, this is what I'm expecting when I'm started the session. Okay, thank you. Right. So let's get started with the previous session. That's moving to forward on the previous session. Okay. Yeah. So the last class we were being discussing about something like So we have been into an operators topic. Okay. Let's quickly finish the operators topic and then moving to the next of operators. Okay. Let us change the name of a Jupyter file. And one thing I just wanted to share you here is make sure that please guys, everybody install the software on your computer. And I will pass you one URL where I will upload all of my Jupyter files into it. Okay. So if you wanted any reference, right? If you want any reference, right? Right, if you want any reference, you further go to that directory. That is like I will add it to a Google Drive and send you the Google Drive link to you. Okay, so in the Google Drive you will find all of my Jupyter files. Okay, so if you want a further help in your practice, then you could able to visit that Google Drive link, and then you could able to find all of my Jupyter files into it. Okay, now. All right, so let me just quickly get started with the operators, which we have completed a couple of operators in the last class, and rest of operators we will try to finish it now. Okay, first we will try to talk about relational operators. So in the relational operators topic, we have like less than symbol, greater than symbol, less than or equals to symbol, greater than or equals to symbol, double equals to, and not equals to. These are the set of operators or in Python programming. Okay, these are the set of operators are present in Python programming. Okay, so just the one thing you have to understand here, coming to the earlier programming language. If you are just coming from a previous programming languages, like you wanted, you're just coming from other languages, like for example, you are coming from let's say uh, C, or you might come across with a C++. There would be some other implementations to it. Okay, so now let me just take you very simple example here, and then I'm trying to make sure that we'll try to check the relation of A less than B. Okay, now in generally we used to get in C or C++ programming, we used to get in terms of false, we used to get 0, correct? In terms of true, right? In terms of true, we used to get something called 1, right? Because this particular programming doesn't support for 0. I mean, it just support for 0 and 1, but it doesn't support for the keywords of true and false, right? It doesn't support for the keywords of true and false. If it doesn't support for a true and false keywords, okay, then they used to represent the same result in terms of 0 and 1. But as the Python programming, we have a keywords like a true and false. Make sure that in the both the cases, T is supposed to be capital case here and F is supposed to be capital case here. Okay, it means this particular programming of Python is also case sensitive. Remember that this particular programming of Python is also a case sensitive. It means if you write some case, you're supposed to follow the same case, right? I'm trying to write a in lowercase. It means to say that you have to follow only small a. You could not able to take it to the capital A. So at the time, it will raise you an error that, see that I'm trying to define a variable in lowercase and just trying to access that variable in uppercase. So what happened is it's just showing you something called capital A is not defined. It means again it is a case sensitive thing. Okay. So it's just like returning you something called false. Okay. Like this, you take it to any of these operators, will be the result either it is true or it could be a false, right? So hope you are clear with this, because even I just given the same thing in the last class also. Might be the same thing I was given you in the last class. Yes, I'm just given the same thing in the last class. Just I wanted to repeat you here in this. Okay. Now let's get start for one more set of operator. Let us say logical operators. Right. Logical operators in Python is a three types. Remember that here you don't have a symbolics. In the other programming, I'm just talking about C or Java or C sharp. Any programming, if you just wanted to represent this, we used to represent in terms of like this. Let's say and double and percentile. If you want to represent or, we used to represent this with a like this. If you want to represent not, we used to represent like this. But in Python programming, it just to represent the same, but you have to represent that in terms of a text format. And, or, and not. It means a text format will be represented over here. Okay, now. So in this particular case, let's say I'm trying to define a variable of A and a variable of B. Okay, guys, if you have a technical knowledge, it's okay. If it doesn't have a technical knowledge, I just wanted to show you very simple representation of a logical operators. First question is, why actually we have to use this question mark? That is a very, very big question mark. Why we have to use this? Why we need to use an operators called logical operators? Why we supposed to use these operators? That's a very important question. Okay. When you wanted to represent a certain variable relation, we have a relational operators, correct? And similarly, if you wanted to represent the same of arithmetic operation, a plus b or a minus b, we have arithmetic operators. Okay. Now here in the case of logical operators, why we actually need to represent these operators? Why actually we need these operators? Okay. First and foremost thing you have to understand is, okay, when we need to represent multiple expressions as a single expression, when we need to use multiple expressions as a what? A single expression, then we use these operators. Okay. For example, I just wanted to have a two set of expressions. Let's say I wanted to perform A is supposed to be greater than 10 or equals to 10. And the one more thing is I wanted to check for whether A is less than 20 or not. Nothing but you wanted to perform a certain kind of validation, or you can say an expression, which has to be follow a two different process, or which has to be following a two different applications or a process in this. Okay, now, so in that particular case, we just wanted to use this. If you just look at a simple diagram to represent this, okay, let's say this is my expression one. Assume that this is expression one. This is my expression number two. Two different type of expressions. In between, I'm trying to place something called AND operator. I'm just trying to place an operator called AND between this. So what are the different type of inputs we used to face? First time it may returns false, and sometimes it also returns false, because there is only cases like whether it can be true or whether it can be false. But if you are taking a result of AND operator, we will take it as a false. So let's say true, okay, and I'm just taking it is here a false, and the result of it again it is false. Okay, first it is false, then it could be a true, and the result here is false. In the both the cases, sometimes input one is returning true, input two is also returning true, then the result of this again it becomes a true. Okay, so let us assume, understand it very carefully, your expression one and your expression two. Okay, and we are talking about a result of AND operator. Okay, so what does this expression is all about? We have a different inputs we are supplying to the AND operator. Okay, it means like you're just placing AND between these two. You're just placing AND between these two. So my first input is wrong and second input is also wrong, so that my result is false. My first input is true, second input is false, then still my result will be a false. First input is false, second input is true, still my result is false. In the both the cases of first input and the second input, which is representing the output is true. Okay, means whenever you're trying to place an AND operator between two expressions, make sure that both the expressions should need to return true and a true, so that the result will become as a true. In all the other cases, it will be a false. Let me add here itself the result of OR operator. So what is the result of OR operator? Which means here it is false. Any one input is true, the output is true. Only the first case it will be fails. Only the first case is going to be fail, because both the inputs are false, so that the output is false. The rest of the inputs, even only one input we have given as the true, nothing but one input condition is true, right? So that the result will be true is always. Okay, so this is how the two expressions will be performed. Okay, that's I just wanted to apply here in this case. Okay, so do you have any questions here? Then you just put up your questions on the questionnaire. Okay, now I'm just trying to make sure that I'll just give a simple program. The result will be, first a is supposed to be greater than or equals to 10. This is my first expression, and second expression is supposed to be a is less than 20. Right, I just wanted to print the result here. Let's see what is gonna be result. The result is true is because this value of a is 10. The first expression is correct, even though second expression is also correct, and we are trying to place AND operator between these two, so that the result is becomes again what? True. Nothing but it is representing a Boolean keyword called true. Similarly, I wanted to just check here, right? Let me just take it to one more cell and just type the same thing and make sure that I wanted to write a condition in such a way that a is greater than 100. Okay, so obviously what happened, one condition is false in between these two. This condition is false, and second, even though second condition is true, there is no point, correct? So obviously this is going to return the result as the false only. It's going to return the result as a false itself. Okay, hope is clear. The first one is true is because both the conditions which we are supplying is true, correct? And this is going to be false. Why? Because in these two expressions which we are supplying to the input of AND operator, one of this condition is false, so that we can say that the result will be a false at this point. Okay, similarly, I just wanted to write the same thing, but I just wanted to place OR operator. Let me just place the same condition, right? But I'm just looking forward to the output. What is the output here? It just returns the result as true. Okay, and the other case which we wanted to share you here is both the conditions I'm making it as a false. Both the conditions I wanted to make it as a false, so that the result of AND is also false, the result of OR is also false. Okay, so hope you're clear with this stuff, right? Do you have any questions? You just put up the across in the chat. Okay, so just giving you a 2 minutes, guys, to just verify your simple content, and then we will get back to the next option. All right. So guys, if you have any questions, you just put up on the chat. If it doesn't have any questions, so that I'm just moving forward for the next set of operators. Okay. Before we say operators, so we will basically look at uh, okay. So we will basically look at what this one. Uh, yeah, we will just moving into a control statements. Okay, so the flow, we will try to understand the flow of programs, how we actually execute it and all. Then we are just moving into the next of it. Okay, right. So hope up to this is clear, right? So we don't have Boolean operators. I guess you already know, right? Which is something like this one, right? Are true and false. There is no other things to be learned. Okay. So the next thing is comparison, less than, greater than, and all that we have already finished. Okay, and coming to um, yeah, that's it. Most of the operators we have done here up to this. Okay. The one operators which actually a bit confusing might you have seen this or I don't know, but this or set of operators called bitwise operators. Okay, uh, like right, we just have like in bitwise operators. What happened in the bitwise operators is like converting something into a binary format and just finding the reference of it. Okay. Just I wanted to show you here one or two things. Okay, might be if you are able to understand, that's fine. If you are not able to understand, then just find out here how do we do that. We have an operator called this one, single and percentile, and we have an operator called single pipeline symbol. Okay, we have a left shift, right shift, and all. But just I wanted to show you on at least this two to understand. Okay, yeah. So how we can able to do some conversions. Let's say a value I'm trying to give it as, let's say 8. Let's say b value I'm giving it is, let's say a 3. Okay, so I wanted to print the output of a and b. Okay, let's see how the what is the output is going to be printed. So the output is printing it as a 0. Okay, similarly I'm just taking up here and remaining this to a single pipeline symbol, and the output is 11. Okay, so what happened in these two cases? I'm just doing one thing here. Let us, this is a decimal, right? This could be a decimal. 8 is a decimal number, 3 also be decimal number. What happened in these two variables is it converts a decimal to, right? It converts a decimal to a binary format. Let's say I'm just taking 8. If you're taking a 8, let's say 8-bit format. For a digit 8, I'm just taking a 8-bit format. So what is the 8-bit format? Let's say 1, 0, 0, and 0. Okay, this is the 8-bit format. For let's say 3, 0, 0, 1, and 1. Okay, and it just like acting like an AND operator, right? In the cases, both the conditions are true. Nothing but here it is true, true, and false. In all the cases, it is false because there is no ones or matching here. Okay, so that the result of this, if you convert it again back to decimal, which will be printing it as a 0. Okay, Okay, so it's just converting that into a, let's say, after converting this into a decimal, you'll get it again 0 here. Right, this is what a bitwise AND. Same if you are using a bitwise OR, the result will be a little different. 1 0 0 0 0 1 and 1. In the, if you just look at the output for this, it will be 1 0 1 and 1, correct? It means it is 8, correct? 8 plus 2 and plus 1, 2 power 0. So it just gives the values called 11. Hope you already know how to convert a decimal to binary to decimal, right? If you doesn't have an idea about decimal to binary to decimal, just look at it on the screen. I just converted in the simplest format. It's like an 8-bit format. It's not 32-bit format, okay? It's just an 8-bit format. Guys, please just observe it for this example for a couple of minutes. Basically, I was trying to represent here in a couple of things. What is that? The first one is the using of AND operator, that is a bitwise AND operator. And the second one is using of bitwise OR operator. Okay. In the both the cases, what we have to do is first we have to convert the given decimal value into a binary format, and just apply the AND operator AND operator process. Similarly, OR operator, we just need to apply OR operator process. So after that, you just might see that. Okay. If you want, I'll just will give you one more example. Okay, don't worry. Let's I'm just taking a value as, let's say, 4. Let's say I'm taking a B value as let's say 6. Okay. So I wanted to first, what I wanted to do was let's trying to convert this A and B into a binary format. A binary format will be what? 0, 1, right? 0 and a 0, because 2 power 0, 1, 2 power 1, 2 power 2. Okay, so this could be a binary for 4, digit 4. Let's say digit 6 binary. Digit 6 binary is what? 0, 1, 1 and 0. Correct? It means 2 power 1 and 2 power 2. It means 2 plus 4, 6. Correct? This is for the binary format for the second one. Correct? No? So if you just calculate the output for this two, okay, if I'm using an AND operator, let's say I'm just using an AND operator. Assume that I'm just using this AND operator. Bitwise AND, remember that. Let's say bitwise AND. So then what is the output we can expect here? Is 0 0 will be a 0. 0 1 1 will be 1, 0 1 will be 0, and 1 1 again 0. This is for AND operator result. Similarly, if you're just looking at a bitwise OR operator, what will happen? 0 0 will be always 0, 1 1 and 0. It means this will be the output for OR and this will be the output for AND. It means this output will be what? Obviously 4. This output will be obviously what? 6. Correct? Now let's check with the computer, I mean, with the Python program. Okay. So let me just say A and B. What is that? A and B. The result output is equals to, let's say, A and B. The similarly, we are just looking at A or B. Okay. You just look at the result of it will be, let's say, A or B, which means, you see that, as what I just explained you, the output 4 and 6, that the output which is got displayed 4 and 6. Okay. Guys, I just wanted you to check it again. Just observe these 3 cells, 9, 10, 11, and most of, as I come across with the multiple people, most of the people have a problem with this conversion or problem with these operators. Okay. And if you have any problems, you just let me know. I'm just giving you 2 minutes to look at this 3 cells. Guys, just wanted to ask you once again, do you have any questions of conversion of this thing? Do you have you able to understand, or if you are just facing some problem, please let me know. Guys, I just wanted to check once again with you. Do you have any questions regarding this operators? Let me know. If you are clear, just tell me clear so that we'll just moving forward for the next one. Okay, hope you are clear with this, right? So just moving forward, because if you're not having any questions, means if you're asking, then we'll try to clear it, because as you are not questioned anything, so that I'm moving forward for the next parts of it. Okay, right? We have some set of operators in this, like left shift, right shift, and all. That is not that difficult, as if you understand this too, and the left shift and right shift is almost the same. Okay, just converting that into a decimals and then doing some basic conversions and then performing that operation. Okay, just moving ahead for the next one, next the topic, I can say the next topic which I'm moving forward here is like control statements in Python. In control statements, again we have a two set of statements here. One is conditional statements, and then we have looping statements. Okay, we have a two set of statements over here. The first set of statement will be uh, the first set of statement will be this one, a conditional, and the second set of statements will be a looping statements. Okay, in the conditional statements, we have something like if. Okay, then if is related with anyhow else, and next with while, and then for. Very important thing to understand, right, guys? From now onwards, I need your communication compulsory. I need your attention compulsory, because if you're not properly giving me a proper answer, then I could not able to understand whether you are clear with that or not. Because actual the content of a Python is gonna be start from here, right? The actual the taste of flavor of Python is going to be starts from here. The till what we have seen till now is your basics, or it might you can say that you already know that in the other programming, correct? That's what most of the people say. But if you're just trying to look at this one, if you're just trying to look at this one, and in this process of application, the actual taste of a Python programming is going to be starts from here. The indentations and all will be actually starts from here. Okay, now, right? So I'm just moving, just trying to go for the first option, if else. All right. Let us first showing you a simple syntax here, how we can write the Python C sharp. I mean to say what you can call it as the syntax for if else. Remember that if followed by some condition here, a Boolean condition. Right. So there is something called a simple Boolean condition will be defined here. And then there would be a semicolon, then you need to write a set of statements, and then else. We don't have anything to be defined here, and then we have a set of statements here. This is how the syntax of a if statement. This is what the syntax of if statement. Okay. What is the difference compared to the other programming languages? Might you already come across I'm writing a simple if else statement in the other languages. We used to write with the curly braces as a block. This will be considered as a if block. And then this will be considered else, and here else block, which will have again a set of statements here also. We will place some set of statements here, and we will place some set of statement here, depends on this Boolean condition. Okay, now depends on this Boolean condition. First, we used to write some set of statements here, and other set of statements to be written in the second block. Okay, now after we write this part, we will try to replace the same thing in Python in this manner. We don't have this parenthesis most of the time. Even you can use it, but in generally we will not write. Will not write it. You look at here, open curly brace and the closed curly brace. That will be replaced here by a colon symbol. Nothing but you don't need to write this curly braces here. And here, same. In else also, we don't have this one and we don't have this one. Okay, now? Yeah, just observe that. Just observe it. If you if you could able to relate or finding some basic differences between the language you have learned, the language which you are trying to learn will have some slight changes over here. As a developer, you have to understand the syntax first properly. Once you understand the syntaxes properly, then you can do anything. Okay, is that clear? Now let me just write a very simple example here. Okay, just write a simple example. Whether input number is greater than 10 or not. We just need to check whether the input number is greater than 0 or not. That is what we wanted to check here. Okay, now first of all, let us read an input. How do we read an input? Let's say we're just reading an input like this. Correct? We're just trying to read an input like this by converting that input into integer directly. Hope you understand this statement. Once you understand the statement, now let us make sure that we wanted to check whether if input number is greater than 10 or not. If it is greater than 10, we just wanted to print some hello, and else we wanted to print some message called, let's say, good evening. Right? Let us run this. I'm giving a 15 output. Right? I'm just giving an input as 15 and just giving output called 10. Guys, can you just try the same program in your computer and just tell me what are the problems you're facing? I will just give you 5 minutes, okay? If you are ready with your computer, just tell me one thing. Are you using, what you can say, are you following this session on your laptop or a mobile device? Are you following this on a mobile device or in a laptop? If you are using a laptop, I wanted to write this code on your system, on your Jupyter notebook, and just tell me what are the problems you're facing. I'm sure as the first step into a Python programming, I'm 101% I'm telling you, you will find the problems here. You will face the problems here. And just tell me what are the problems you're facing. I'm giving you 5 minutes time here, and just write this program and just let me know what are the things you have problem. Guys, have you find any errors on your system? Guys, if you're not responding, I could not able to understand anything, whether you're following or whether if you're not, then just tell me, I'll just continue it. Okay. The very important thing you have to understand here is the spacing problem. right? There is something called spaces is adding here, right? That is something called indentation. Most of the Python developers, as a beginner, right? If you are just going a first step into a Python programming, most of the people is having a problems with the indentations. Okay, what are the indentation problems are, right? It means you have something like what you can call it as spacing problem. What is the spacing problem? I'll just show you here. As like unlike the other programming, if I wanted to start this statement here, even I wanted to start this statement from here. Okay, let me run this. What is something you have found an error, right? There is something found an error here. If you just observe it carefully, the error is indentation error. Okay, now the error is what? An indentation error. This indentation error is expected indentated block. It's expecting an indented block. It means this is supposed to be follow some spacing. Let's hit on enter after a colon. The place where it is starting the code, you just need to follow the same. Okay, right? Is that clear, guys? Okay, so yeah, right. So I'm just end up the session for today here. Okay, tomorrow we will try to continue from the same place where the conditional statements. Okay, so try to look at the particular options. Okay, try to practice. I'm telling you once again, every day practice is required for the programming concept, right? Make sure that if you have any questions, you just come across so that we will try to put up that. Okay, all right, so thank you so much for your time, and then we'll see you tomorrow.